And hello, everyone. Dwayne Hoffman here. Welcome back to Radical Math. This is our second episode on misused conventions, and this one's going to be a doozy. This is going to be about Bergen raises, and this is going to be one of those case against Bergen raises. So let's start with a little bit of history. So back in the 50s, in the 60s, most American pairs played standard American. They would go to the World Championships, and now they would have a ton of issues with the Italian blue team. And so, because of that, we North Americans needed better methods. And so, really, kind of the progenitors of what we now consider 2-over-1 game force was Alvin Roth and Tobias Stone, where not only did they have some artificial bids, but they had a forcing no trump. And those ideas were incorporated into what we consider 2-over-1. But really in the 70s is where it took off, because you had Swanson, you had Soloway, you had the Walshes really take this in earnest. And so Max Hardy really was the one that did the documentation and really pushed it forward. And there's some good parts about 2-over-1, and there's some shaky parts about 2-over-1. And sometimes flexibility is a good thing, and sometimes it's bad. So one of the things that I want to emphasize in this is style matters when it comes to any convention. And so what I'm about to say may surprise some people, but I'm going to provide some justification. If you open sound hands, but you don't open all 12 counts, you don't open decent playing 11 counts, as in if you are of the, we are the responsible citizen. Bergen raises has some merit. It is not the most efficient, but it has some merit. However, in the modern style where players are opening lighter and lighter, the rule of 20, the rule of 19, very distributional hands, in a light opening style, whether it's 2-over-1 game force, precision, other system, you need more invites, and you need a way to differentiate those invites. And that is why I think Bergen maybe has outlived its usefulness. So let's look at what Bergen is. So Bergen has 3 separate bids, and this is based on a major suit opening and the opponents are passing. So a 3 of a major double raise is now preemptive. A 3 club raise is a 4-card constructive, so 7 to 10 points. And then your limit is 4 card trump support, 10 to 12. So looked it up at Bridge Bum. I like the explanation that they give here. And so, in addition, they mentioned this ambiguous splinter. A lot of people don't play that. That's definitely a lesser known treatment. I have played it once in a partnership. So So one of the first things that really come up is your limit bid and your constructive are in the wrong order because opener would like to invite, especially in a heart contract. And so Mr. Bergen changed his mind and did a reverse Bergen raise, where 3 clubs is the limit and 3 diamonds is the constructive. And this leads to some issues. First of all, your forcing no trump now has your 3 card limit. And now you better have some very good agreements on, for example, you open a heart, pass, forcing no trump by me, 2 spade overcall, pass, pass. What's 3 hearts? Is it a limit? Is it competitive? What's 3 hearts? Now, most people will play that as I have values, I've taken a second call. But make sure you talk it over with your partner. The other issue, which I think is the larger issue, is in 2-over-1 game force, your invitational hands all have to go through a forcing no trump over a major suit opening. Okay, I'm going to scroll down and talk about the interference with Bergen in a moment. And so now what happens is you will have auctions that will go, let's say a spade pass, forcing no trump pass. I bid 2 diamonds, which could be on a 3-card suit, pass 3 clubs, and you don't know what 3 clubs is. It could be a very bad 12 count all the way down to a good 5 count. And so you have situations where you're missing 3 no trumps. So that second issue is significant. And a lot of it has to be based on scoring. Remember, at match points, the idea is you're trying to compete against the field. However, at teams, you're trying to get the largest yet safest score versus your opponents. And that's why you see the conversion to imps. So it's a different scoring. And so 2-over-1 pairings don't have a way to differentiate them unless the opponent's bid. And then if you play transfer advances, you possibly have a way to go about your business. So the next thing is if you have interference. Many partnerships will play a similar structure. Some partners will play weak jump shifts. So a heart double, 3 diamonds is a weak hand in diamonds. A lot of people do not play bromad. And as you see here, it is a little bit complicated. And a lot of people don't play this. I played it one time in a sectional in Sun City Center, and I got dropped in 3 diamonds because partner thought I was a weak jump shift. I was giving a 4-card constructive raise. It did not go very well, put it that way. So, as it says in the paragraph right below the interference over Bergen, that there is no standard approach to this. You should discuss this with your partner. I strongly, strongly agree with this. And so this really leads to one of the big hearts of the matter, and that is if you play Standard American or a sound opening style, the thing that you have to do really well is you have to balance effectively. because partner's going to pass more hands than the field. If you play a light opening style, as aforementioned, rule of 20, rule of 19, precision, etc., because you opened, you've already pre-balanced. So now you need a way to pull the handbrake. You need more invites. So I personally do not like playing this treatment. I like playing 2-no as my inviter better hand. You can have 3-card support. I'm happy with that. I think it's better because you tell a partner where you live. You're not doing this sidestep. Now the opponents get a lead directing bid. No. Less is more, especially at match points. So I advocate for 2-no to be a limit or better. So some people call it Swedish 2-no trump or Stenberg 2-no trump. There's a couple other names like that. Similar idea goes by. And in a proper 2-over-1 construct, and also strong club, by the way, I prefer playing 1 major pass, 3 minor, and 1 spade pass, 3 hearts as a 6-card suit or longer inviting game. And the key part of it is I do not have 3-card support. I can have 0, 1, or 2. That leaves 1 major, 3 major as your 4-card constructive. And so now, by jettisoning the preempt bid, you solve an issue where if you're white on red, you can have 1 heart double, 3 hearts double, and they're going plus 300, and the other side doesn't even have a game. All they have is a small partial. Cape and point. In, I want to say 2004, 2005, playing a tournament on Vancouver Island. We were white, my partner and I. The opponents were red, and it went a heart double. We're playing the overcall system, so she had 15 plus points. Like if you had an overcall strong no trump, you go through double in the overcall structure. 3 hearts, I double, I got points, but no direction. Swish. The 3 heart bidder had no shortage. They only had the jack of hearts. And the dummy took exactly 1 trick. Hearts were 3-1 with the ace queen third offside in partner's hand. And I managed to get in enough times to pump Declare. Declare had no shortage. They were your stock standard, 5-3-3-2 shape, no shortage either. And their double 10 was opposite the 4-card suit, the other 4-card suit in the dummy. They go for 500. We don't even have 3-no. 3-no doesn't make on a heart lead because Declare has no suit to run. It was like the 4-3, 4-3, type situation for 2 of the side suits, and then 1 heart, 3 hearts. But Declare doesn't have a lot of shape. I had 5 bad clubs and I have terrible spots. Declare's got like King Queen 10, and it's not good. It doesn't make 3-no. It's one of those that makes 2-no, but not 3-no. So instead, by playing 1 major past 3 major constructive, now what happens is 4C, if they stick their neck out, you get a penalty double situation. And what I play is, if we're playing constructive raises, 1 major past 3 major, or the times that I have to play Bergen, because that's what partner plays, all doubles are penalty. because you know you have at least half the deck, and if you're doubling, especially behind the person who is going coming in, you now know they have a trump stack. They're not doubling when they've already one hand has limited on themselves. So it's not a situation where I play maximal doubles. I don't think it's applicable in a constructive raise auction. Take your sure profit, get your 200, your 300, depending on vulnerability, and be happy. Just be happy. So there's another reason why. And because of the way that match points and imps go, I have a philosophy of at match points, I'd rather play standard American because you still have plenty of forcing beds. And at teams, 2/1 game force because you cannot afford to miss game. You can't bring back a 170 when the other side is bringing 620. You have to bid game. Especially if you don't bid game, and let's say at the other table it gets doubled and they get 590 or 790, ouch. You're really, really hating life. So, what I want to disclose, and I found this article a few years ago by Paulo Broom, and he makes a very compelling statement. And I want to move the page down, and this statement made me really think, and it's this one right here, that it is incompatible with 2/1 game force. And he validates what I have known for a long time. And I really discovered this in Washington, D.C., is when this treatment really hit me in terms of, I want a bit of natural club suit. Because if you look in this example, you look at South, the other two hands, long story made short, if you had the ace of clubs as North, the dummy offers 7 tricks at 3-no. You don't need much as opener. If you look at the third hand is clearly a 2/1 hand. But then you look at the first hand, and as he writes, if partner rebids 2 spades, you have a 7-card club suit, but you're at the 3 level. And so this is part of the reason why I take out a lot of your invite hands out of forcing no trump. It makes forcing no trump easier. The other thing that it does is by not playing Bergen, is you can differentiate what type of limit partner has. So this means you really shouldn't play Jacoby. Get rid of Jacoby. As you've seen in lesson 1, you should only play Jacoby if you have a mild slam invite or better. But what I would advocate is make your limits again. Like I said, I've played Swedish 2-no, and I really like that structure because if it goes 1 major past 2-no, I have a limit or better. Past 3 clubs, I have a minimum. Partner can still force the game with an artificial 3-diamond call. And now you get the benefits of a true Jacoby, the fact that the responder does not have a 5-card suit, otherwise it would be a 2/1 auction. And opener has some rights. and they can bid their hand, and now you get to the best contract, which may be 3 no trump. Keep that in mind. So, those are my recommendations for major suit raises. I think Bergen is a net minus, and therefore, why play a convention that's net minus? I am of the firm belief that if you do not play Bergen and you play something else, anything else that is constructive, like, okay, I got 4 trump, but I have 8 points. Okay, I'll just raise the 2 and I can compete the 3 if I need to. That it is now in this era bridge better. I think it scores better at match points. It just takes less pressure off a partner. Partner gets to bid more naturally, which is never a bad thing. Never a bad thing. So, next time, we are going to discuss another very popular section of the card, and that is going to be 2 suited overcalls. And this is going to dovetail into what will be the 4th lesson, which will be no trump defenses. So you need your Michaels and unusual 2 no bets to get to your no trumps. So there's going to be the next 2, and there's going to be a lot to say on this as well. So if you like this, make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. For those who are mathematically inclined, I have, and let me see if I have it in here. I do. I'm actually going to do a video in short order about if you ever wanted to take like complex analysis for math, the things that you proof-wise. So I'll give you a little sample. Here's a little sample right there of, let me get it straight. There we go. Of what a complex analysis proof entails. So stay tuned on that. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of one another. God bless. We'll see you next time.